All right, today we're going to talk about a true sporting phenomenon. I'm talking about a legend whose career was like a comet. It just blazed across the sky, brighter and faster than almost anything we've ever seen. We are talking about the one and only Sandy Koufax, and believe me, his story will make you rethink what it even means to be a legend.
So, this is the big question, right? This is the whole puzzle of Sandy Koufax. In a sport where we celebrate guys who play for 20, 25 years, how did a career that was basically a flash in the pan create this iconic, unforgettable legacy? Well, let's dive in.
And look, that's not an exaggeration, not even a little bit. When people sit around and argue about the greatest pitchers of all time, his name is always in the conversation, not for a long, drawn-out career, but for just a handful of absolutely breathtaking seasons that completely changed the game.
Okay, so let's get right into that peak. Because it wasn't a slow burn. Oh no. It was a straight-up explosion of talent that basically redrew the map of what was possible on a pitcher's mound.
Let's just start with this number, 3. In the world of baseball, this number, when you connect it to Koufax, it's just staggering. It represents 3 straight years of being named the absolute, undisputed best pitcher in the entire league. I mean, really think about that for a second. To be the best just once, that's a lifelong dream for most players. To be the best for 3 years in a row, that's a whole other level of greatness. It's a run of dominance we've honestly rarely seen since. And it wasn't just about the personal awards, not at all. The guy was a winner, plain and simple. This number 4, that's the big one. That's the ultimate team prize. 4 World Series championships with the Dodgers. And you can see here just how packed his success was. From 63 to 66, he was practically unstoppable. MVPs, Cy Young Awards, World Series titles, all of it crammed into this ridiculously short window. It's truly one of the most dominant 4-year stretches in the history of sports.
And this is really the foundation of that dominance. He was a Dodger through, and for 5 straight seasons, nobody in the league could touch him in strikeouts. And that 1963 MVP award, that's a huge deal. It's so rare for a pitcher, and it just proves he wasn't just the best at his position, he was the most valuable player in the entire league.
But here's the thing about Koufax. His legend isn't just built on stats, not even close. It's built on these unforgettable moments, these displays of character and skill that have become a huge part of baseball folklore.
So first, let's talk about a moment of just pure, raw, athletic genius. We're talking about a day when he was, and I mean this quite literally, perfect.
Now, for anyone who might not follow baseball that closely, a perfect game is the absolute pinnacle. It means 27 batters come up to the plate and 27 batters go right back to the dugout. No hits, no walks, nobody even reaches base on an error. It's basically the Mount Everest of pitching. And yep, in 1965, Sandy Koufax stood right at the top. You know, as incredible as athletic perfection is, this next moment, this is what really took Koufax from being just a sports hero to a true cultural icon. It was a choice he made that showed the entire world who he was as a man. So picture this. It's Game 1 of the World Series. This is the biggest stage in the sport, and he's the best pitcher on the planet. But the game falls on Yom Kippur, which is the holiest day in Judaism. And Koufax chose his faith over the game. He didn't pitch. It was this quiet, incredibly powerful statement that echoed so far beyond the baseball diamond.
And that brings us to the final and maybe the most dramatic part of his story. This is the part that really explains why a career so short became so legendary. You see, it's not just about what he did, but about when he decided to stop.
30. That's how old he was when he walked away from baseball, for good. Just let that sink in for a minute. 30.
And this, right here, is what makes his story so completely unique. He wasn't fading. He wasn't some player in decline. He had just won another Cy Young Award. He was the king of his sport. And then, just like that, he was gone.
And here's the brutal reality behind all that magic. The same arm that created so much brilliance was also causing him unimaginable pain. Doctors told him flat out that if he kept pitching, he might lose the use of his arm forever. So, he had to make an impossible choice. His retirement sent absolute shockwaves through the sports world, and it basically crystallized his legend. By leaving at his absolute peak, he never had a decline. We never saw him fade. So in our memory, he's forever that untouchable, dominant force. And because of that, he was rushed into the Hall of Fame almost immediately, becoming one of the youngest players ever to get that honor.
And so, that brings us right back to where we started. Sandy Koufax's career really was a comet, a breathtaking, brilliant streak across the sky that was gone far too soon. But his story proves something, doesn't it? It proves that maybe the brightness of the light matters a whole lot more than how long it burns, leaving a legacy that is truly timeless.